today I'm just going to have a look at the intro, or actually much of the guitar part really, from Harry Nilsson's Everybody's Talking at Me. You may know it from that 1960s movie. I've never seen it. I probably know it more from Borat, when he did the scene in New York. Anyway, this guitar part is sort of my attempt to recreate what's on the album, but for a singer-guitarist doing a solo version of it. So I had to listen to the original many times. It's quite complex. From what I could work out, there's actually 3 guitars on there, which makes it hard to replicate everything, obviously. Plus you've got an orchestra and percussion and everything else. So if we're stripping it right back to playing, one voice and one guitar, we've got a few challenges. So the original, from what I could tell, or the primary guitar part, is actually played with a capo on the 4th fret, and they're using C shapes, which is great, but he's got all the accompaniment. I worked out something like how to play that, but it wasn't really working. So I started thinking outside the box, which I encourage everyone to always do. And so I started thinking, okay, well, I want a strong bass line underneath me as I'm playing this, because that's going to be carrying the song. So I thought about using drop D tuning, and I've placed a capo at the 2nd fret. So if I play a D chord now here, I've got this low E note, and I've got this shape here, and it's got some nice separation between the high and the low note, but I've got that depth there, which makes a big difference with playing it. Now, secondly, with that, I should say, because I'm playing a D shape, but the capo's on the 2nd fret, this now sounds as an E chord. But I'll be referring to all shapes as the shapes we know them as, rather than this is an E chord from now on. So please just remember that. Having the drop D allows me to play this sort of Travis picking idea. Throughout a lot of the start of it, which means that it's got this quite full sound, but the bass line, once you get used to that idea of a constantly alternating thumb on the strings, is reasonably easy to play, and then you can play other things around it. Now, the other challenge with this song is that there are actually moving lines or melodic voices within each chord. You're not simply just playing a chord. So you can hear in that opening motif, you've got a major chord to a major 7, then down to a 7, then a 6th. What's the best way to play that? Now, playing it up here out of like a C position with the capo there was doable. I play a lot of fingerstyle guitar, obviously. I could kind of get it to work, but it wasn't particularly fluent. Once again, playing in a band, it'd probably get away with it. Doing a solo performance, it's going to be more obvious. So coming here allows me to play these shapes. So I've got a D chord. I'm going to refer to everything, as I said, by the actual shapes, not the pitch, because of the capo. So I've got a D, down to a D major 7, to a D7, to a D6. So that little bit would sound something like... something like that. Now, the next part, we're going from a D7 to a D6. So that's rather easy for me to play, because I've got the D7 shape here, and then I just lift my index finger off, and I've got the open 2nd string, which gives me that D6 sound I'm after. Which is that sort of thing. Okay. The next part is a move, it's a 2-5 move, if you're familiar with that chord, concept. Anyway, it's an E minor to an A7. Very, very common in millions of songs, especially standards. Because I've got the dropped D in play, I need to change the fingering slightly for my E minor 7 chord. So I'm actually going to fret the second note on string 6 to play that. Anyway, I'll put some, I'll jot some chord shapes down for this stuff too. So we're going from there to an A7. I'm actually keeping my pinky down there to keep that note ringing out. That's a great thing to do with fingerstyle. The guitar does not have much natural sustain, especially the acoustic. So the notes die off fairly quickly. I don't worry too much about dampening for the most part, unless I really need to, because sometimes notes ringing across help give that sustain and fullness that more inexperienced finger pickers might lose because the notes aren't sustaining as we hope. So, and then we're back to the start. So I'll notate out the intro that I've done so far, and I'll work out the rest of the song later.